In the age of endless war, the land west of the Grey Mountains is a broken realm. Once the elves ruled here, but they sailed away, leaving behind elegant ruins and land ripe for conquest. Into this vacuum comes a tribe of men known as the Bretonnia, only to find themselves prey to greenskin hordes and the vicious beastmen that haunt the deep woods. Without a unified leader, their lords squabble and their knights are disorganized, leaving the people desperate. But from desperation, a hero will rise. His name is Gilles Le Breton, a duke from Bastonne, and he is determined to unite his people. This is the story of how a single warrior and his vision forged a kingdom from the fires of war. So let's explore the legendary duchies that formed the heart of Bretonnia, from their unification to their unique stories.
Ad mortem inimicus!
To understand Bretonnia's duchies, we first need to talk about Bretonnia as a whole and understand where it came from, and its kingdom's fiery birth. At its darkest hour, an orc army threatened to overwhelm the land. A mythical figure appeared to Giles and his most loyal companions. Rising from the sacred lake, wreathed in a shimmering mist, she was only known as the Lady of the Lake. Her identity remains one of Old World's greatest mysteries, a fae powered by the spirit of the land. She offered the knights a blessing from her grail, and those who received the blessing were filled with holy strength, their spirits purified. They became the first Grail Knights. United by their divine encounter, Giles and his companions swore to drive the Greenskins from the land, or die trying. What followed was a legendary campaign of 12 great battles, where the knights of the newly forged Bretonnia scattered one greenskin army after another. After years of war, the land was once again finally free. Following tradition, Giles the Unifier was crowned King of Bretonnia in the year 977, and the 14 great duchies were formed, established under the rule of one of the Grail Knights. The unification also cemented a code of chivalry that set vows to govern every Bretonnian knight. They swear to serve the lady, protect the innocent, show courage, and uphold honor. This code is the bedrock of Bretonnian society, and stands in stark contrast to most of the land around it, where only blood and steel define power and control. If you seek the heart of Bretonnian chivalry, look no further than the Duchy of Couronne. As a royal duchy, it's the seat of the king and the political and spiritual center of the realm. Its name literally means crown, and it's here that every king is crowned and where the royal court is held. The Knights of Couronne are seen as paragons of virtue, living the embodiment of the chivalric ideal. They're expected to be flawless in both honor and their skill at arms. The culture of Couronne is utterly dominated by a deep-seated obsession with horses. It's said that Couronnian children learn to ride before they can walk. And from the lowest peasant to the king himself, horsemanship is a measure of a person's worth. The plains of the duchy are home to the greatest horse breeders of Bretonnia, and the local politics are often defined by fierce rivalries over bloodlines and race victories. An old saying goes that a man from Brionne would fight you to the death over his wife, but cheerfully lend you his horse, while a man from Couronne is the other way around. This obsession translates to the battlefield as well. The Knights of Couronne are arguably the finest horsemen in the kingdom, renowned for their cavalry charges hitting with unmatched precision and power. However, their position in the northern coast means they face constant threats from Norscan raiders who sweep down from the Sea of Chaos. Thus, for all of their courtly manners, they are hardened warriors and ever vigilant. If you wish to play as the quintessential Bretonnians, a knight whose honor is as impeccable as their horsemanship and who lives at the center of power, Couronne is the duchy for you. Where Couronne is the heart of Bretonnia's chivalry, the powerful maritime duchy of L'Aiguille is the shield upon its waves. Located in the northern coast, L'Aiguille is the home of Bretonnia's mightiest fleet, a sprawling navy that defends the kingdom's trade lanes and battles pirates, Norsicans, and rival fleets from city-state of Marienburg. If you're drawn to the call of the sea, this is your duchy. The nobles of La Aiguille are a different breed. While they're still knights who uphold the code of chivalry, their lives are tied to the ocean. They're as much admirals as they are generals, and a noble prestige is a measure not just in valor, but in the success of his fleet. This maritime focus creates a unique culture. While the Lady of the Lake is revered, from the common sailor to the Duke himself, pay fervent respect to Manon, the god of the sea. They believe the lady's domain ends where the waters turn to salt, and it's Manon who rules the waves. This dual faith gives them a practical, sometimes grim outlook on life, for the sea is a fickle master. On the battlefield, La Aiguille's armies are filled with valiant knights, but their true strength lies in naval power. The fleet allows them to protect Bretonnia's coasts and defines its strength across the Old World. And they're locked into fierce commercial rivalries with the Bordeleaux to the south. Choosing La Aiguille means embracing a life of adventure on the high seas, battling sea monsters and pirates, and commanding naval might of a proud and powerful kingdom.
Ad mortem inimicus!
Situated on the rugged northwest coast, Lyonesse is a duchy of breathtaking beauty and tragic history. It's a land defined by shadows and light, by the scheming of nobles, and its peerless virtue of its greatest hero. For those who love stories of redemption and internal conflict, Lyonesse is a compelling candidate. The duchy's history is strained by bitter feuds and bloody succession crises that left its noble family deeply suspicious and prone to intrigue. This gives the Knights of Lyonesse a reputation for being cunning and politically astute. Their honor often tempered by a pragmatic and sometimes ruthless ambition. They're proud warriors, but their loyalties can be as shifting as a coastal fog. Yet from this troubled land, one of Bretonnia's most revered figures emerged. Réponse de Lyonesse, a humble shepherdess. She was granted the vision by the Lady of the Lake during a time of great crisis. As a massive chaos invasion threatened to overwhelm the kingdom, Réponse took up a sword and a banner and rose to lead armies of Bretonnia. Her faith was so pure, her leadership so inspirational, that she drove back the tides of darkness, becoming a living saint and a symbol of hope. Her story proves that in Lyonesse, even the humblest soul can rise to become one of the greatest champions. Nestled in the heartland of Bretonnia, Artois is the kingdom's breadbasket. Its rolling fields and abundant harvests feed the realm and fuel its many war efforts. Artois is not a land of dramatic mountain peaks or rugged coastlines. It's a duchy of steadfastness, duty, and quiet strength. If you value resilience and reliability over flashy glory, Artois is a duchy for you. Because of its central location, the knights and peasant levies of Artois are often the first to be called to war. They're a dependable backbone of the king's army, marching to defend any border that's threatened. This has forged a martial tradition that is practical and no nonsense. The Knights of Artois are not prone to the poetic flourishes of Brionne or the insatiable squabbles of Aquitaine. They are workhorse warriors with one job only. Choosing Artois means embracing the role of steadfast defender. Your lands are the foundation upon which the kingdom stands, and your armies are the reliable forces that answer the call no matter what the cost. Life in Artois may lack the high drama of other duchies, but it's often the quiet dignity of being a realm unwavering shield. Its knights find honor not in grand quests, but in faithful execution of their duties. Gisoreux is the gateway to the empire, a vital border duchy defined by trade, diplomacy, and constant vigilance. It guards the Gisoreux Gap, one of the only safe passages through the Grey Mountains, making it a hub of commerce and a strategic linchpin for the entire kingdom. This constant interaction with the outside world, particularly the bustling empire, has made the people of Gisoreux more cosmopolitan, but also more aggressive and brash. The Knights of Gisoreux are forged by life on the frontier. They are diplomats and warriors in equal measure, accustomed to dealing with foreign merchants, imperial envoys, and the ever-present threat of greenskin incursions from the mountains. This has given them a reputation of being hot-headed and quick to draw their blades, seeing threats where others might see opportunities. Theirs is a life of high-stake tension, guarding the primary land and trade routes between Bretonnia and the wider world. An army of Gisoreux is a hardened one, experienced in fighting a variety of foes in the narrow passages and mountain peaks, and on the open plains of their dominion. Choosing this duchy means you are Bretonnia's first line of defense against threats from the east. You are the warden of the border, a tough and pragmatic warrior who understands that chivalry must be backed by a swift and aggressive sword. Carved in the treacherous Grey Mountains, Montfort is a duchy of grim determination and endless war. This land is for those who appreciate the stoic, unyielding defender. The people of Montfort are tough, insular mountaineers, hardened by the constant threat of orcs and goblins, raids that pour out of the infamous Aquitaine Pass. Life here is a daily struggle for survival, and there is little room for the finer pursuit of chivalry. The heart of the duchy's defense is Castle Montfort, a massive, grim bastion built to withstand any siege. It stands the bulwark against the green tide, its stone walls stained with the blood of countless battles. The Knights of Montfort are a reflection of their home, dour, humorless, and utterly immovable in their resolve. They are the masters of defensive warfare, holding the line against impassable odds, while their brethren in the lowlands enjoy peace and prosperity. To choose Montfort is a life of thankless duty. You are the shield of Bretonnia in the east, the silent guardian standing against the horrors of the mountains. The knights do not fight for glory or song, but for survival. Their honor is not found in tournaments or quests, but in the grim reality of the shield wall and the desperate defense of their mountain fortress. High in the peaks of the Grey Mountains lies Parravon, a duchy that truly touches the sky. For those who seek spectacle and unmatched mobility, Parravon is the ultimate choice. The city itself is a breathtaking marvel, a fortress carved from living rock of a mountain peak, accessible only by a single ancient bridge. From the majestic peaks, the Knights of Parravon ride to war not on mere war horses, but on the back of noble and majestic Pegasi. These wings are more than just mounts. They're symbols of the duchy's wealth, status, and unique way of war. While taming a Pegasus is difficult and expensive endeavor, the bond between a knight and their flying steed is more of a profound loyalty. Pegasus Knights are the Air Force of Bretonnia, soaring from their mountain home to strike enemies from above. Bypassing fortress walls, crashing into flanks of unexpected armies, they are a sight of angelic beauty and terrifying power. Life in Parravon is a splendid isolation. Surrounded by mountain peaks, its people are protected from many of the threats that plague the lowlands. This allows the knights to focus on perfecting their aerial combat skills, serving as the realm's elite shock cavalry. Choosing Parravon means commanding Bretonnia's most visually stunning and tactically flexible warriors, the winged knights who bring death from the heavens. On the sun-drenched western coast of Bretonnia lies Bordeaux, a duchy famed across the old world for its exquisite wines and formidable naval power. This is a land of rolling vineyards, bustling ports, and immense wealth, making it the ideal choice for anyone who enjoys a blend of culture, commerce, and martial might. The people of Bordeaux are known for their love of fine wine, which is so abundant that even peasants can afford it. But do not mistake their cheerful disposition for softness. The Knights of Bordeaux are as valiant as the knights in the kingdom, led by the stern and disciplined Duke Albrecht, a warrior who's never been defeated in single combat. He expects the highest standard from his knights, resulting in a small but elite household of some of the realm's greatest warriors. Like its northern rival, Gilles, Bordeaux has a strong maritime tradition, and its nobles often worship Manon, the god of the sea, with as much fervor as the lady. This creates a fascinating split in the culture. The inland nobles focus on their vineyards, and the coastal nobles draw their wealth from the sea. Bordeaux must also keep a constant watch on its northern border with the cursed land of Mousillon, ensuring the horrors of that blighted realm remain contained. If you desire to lead a wealthy, cultured, and disciplined duchy with a powerful navy and a grim watch to keep, pledge your sword to Bordeaux. Aquitaine is a land of stunning beauty and fierce pride, located on the western coast. At a first glance, It seems a tranquil paradise, with few external enemies to threaten its borders. But this very peace has bred a different kind of danger. For the player who revels in drama, horror, and internal conflict, Aquitaine is the perfect stage. The Knights of Aquitaine are known for being proud, stubborn, and obsessed with personal honor. With no great war to fight, they have turned their martial prowess inward. The duchy is infamous for its bitter and often bloody feuds between noble houses, where the slightest insult can lead to duel, and a duel can escalate into a private war. These knights will spend as much time and resources trying to outdo or ruin their rivals as they do governing their lands. This constant infighting makes the Knights of Aquitaine incredibly skilled and ferocious. They live and breathe combat, honing their skills in countless duels and skirmishes. While they can be unpredictable and unreliable, their prowess with the lance is beyond question. Choosing Aquitaine means navigating a treacherous world of knightly honor, where your greatest enemy may not be a greenskin or a follower of chaos, but the noble who lives in the castle just across the valley. Quenelles is a wild duchy that stands on the threshold of the supernatural. It shares a long and tense border with the great forest of Aethelloren, the ancient and mythical domain of the Wood Elves. The proximity of the old world's most potent source of magic has shaped the land and its people, making Quenelles a choice for those fascinated with the Fae and the unknown. The Knights of Quenelles must be ever vigilant. They contend not only with the vicious beastmen who stalk the forest's shadowy eaves, but also the unpredictable nature of the Wood Elves themselves. The Fae spirits of Aethelloren are neither good or evil, but they view the mortal men on their border with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. This has made the people of Quenelles suspicious and wary, but also deeply respectful of the power of the natural world. This is the land most closely associated with the Green Knight, the sacred champion of the Lady of the Lake, who often appears to protect the borders of Bretonnia. Is he a spirit of the forest? Maybe. The returned spirit of Giles le Breton himself? Also possible. In Quenelles, such questions are whispered in awe. To lead this duchy is to stand guard on the border between the mortal world and the world of magic, defending the realm from both mundane and mythical threats. Brionne is a land that perfectly embodies the duality of Bretonnian spirit, a deep appreciation for art and culture paired with a ferocious crusading zeal. For players who love the romance of chivalry and the glory of battle, Brionne often is the best of both worlds. The duchy is renowned for its poets, minstrels, and artists, and its knights are often skilled in song and verse. But this love of beauty doesn't make them soft. It fuels their passion. The Knights of Brionne are often known for their fervent devotion to the lady and their eagerness to win glory for her name. They are often the first to answer the call for a crusade or to embark on a perilous quest in foreign lands. Theirs is a romanticized view of war, one driven by tales of heroism and desire to be immortalized in a song. The current Duke, Theodoric, is the perfect embodiment of this. A patron to the arts and a renowned womanizer in peacetime, but a terrifying axe-wielding warrior in battle. Choosing Brionne means leading knights who are comfortable composing poems as they charge into the heart of an enemy army. They are the passionate, flamboyant souls of Bretonnia, ever seeking glory, honor, and tales worth telling. Their crusading spirit makes them ideal for campaigning that takes you far from home, in search of adventure. Carcassonne is the southernmost bastion of Bretonnia, a highly militarized land forge in the crucible of endless war. If you want to play the toughest, most battle-hardened warriors of the kingdom, Carcassonne is the only choice. This duchy borders the treacherous Inrun Mountains and the greenskin-infested badlands known as the Vault, placing it in near constant state of war against massive orc and goblin hordes. In Carcassonne, everyone is a warrior. From the highest duke to the lowest peasant, the people are hardened veterans, their lives defined by shield walls and signal horns. There is no room for weakness here. Survival depends on skill and discipline and courage. The Knights of Carcassonne are grim and pragmatic, their chivalry stripped of all romance and honed into a brutally effective weapon of war. They fight not for glory, but for the continuous existence of their people. Despite this grim cast, the people of Carcassonne are surprisingly appreciative of the arts, particularly poetry and song from their friends in Brionne. Perhaps this is the way of finding light in the darkness, a reminder of the beauty they fight so hard to protect. To choose Carcassonne is to take one of the most dangerous and vital tasks of the kingdom, holding the southern gate against the unending tide of savagery. To understand Bastonne is to understand the history of the greatest hero of Bretonnia, Gilles le Breton. This is his homeland, a duchy of rolling plains and immense pride, forever living in the shadow of its founder. For those who love heroic legacy and the stories of immense pressure, Bastonne is the ideal choice. The identity of Bastonne is intrinsically linked to Gilles. Local legend claims that long before he united the kingdom, Gilles proved his unmatched valor by single-handedly slaying the great red dragon Smergast, which was terrorizing his land. He rode through the ring of fire that the dragon had created, and with the help of his people, brought the mighty beast down. This legendary feat inspired the Duke of Bastonne to this day, who feel a tremendous weight to live up to the unifier's example. The Knights of Bastonne are proud and deeply traditional. They see themselves as the true inheritors of the chivalric ideal, the direct descendants of Gilles' original vision. They fight with the fury of dragon slayers, driven by a desire to prove themselves worthy of their heritage. Choosing Bastonne means carrying a banner of the unifier himself. It means striving to be a hero in a land of heroes, and leading knights who believe they have a divine destiny to fulfill. No saga for glory is complete without the cautionary tale of damnation. Once one of the 14 founding duchies, Mousillon is now a cursed and blighted land, a festering wound upon the face of Bretonnia. For those who love gothic horror and tragic falls from grace, the story of Mousillon is a powerful draw. Its decay began with the grief of the first duke, the noble Landuin, who was considered the greatest and most pure of all Gilles' companions. But after Gilles' death, a profound sorrow fell upon Landuin, and his heart broke. The land itself began to wither and die. The decay was sealed by a corruption of later dukes, particularly the treacherous Maldred, who, in his ambition to become king, faked the discovery of the Grail and imprisoned the Fey Enchantress. The final damnation came with the rise of the Red Duke, a vampiric lord who turned the land into the realm of the dead. Now Mousillon is a place of stagnant swamps, crumbling ruins, and restless spirits. Its armies are not valiant knights, but ghouls, zombies, and other undead horrors. It stands as a grim and ever-present reminder to the other duchies of the price of failure, of what happens when honor is lost and vows of chivalry are broken. The life of a Bretonnian knight is one of constant struggle and questing. When first knighted, a young noble is a knight errant. They must wander the land seeking adventure to prove their worth. Sometimes a knight can channel the restless energy by declaring an errantry war, a grand crusade that calls all knights errant to a single glorious cause. These wars are a perfect solution for Bretonnia. They muster a massive, eager army to face a major threat, and they give thousands of young knights a chance to earn their honor and become a landed knight of the realm. This cycle of questing and war is the engine that drives Bretonnia. While the peasantry toils in supporting the kingdom with their labors, the nobility rides to war. They're warrior elite who believe that they are divinely appointed to protect the land. Their charge is to uphold the virtues of the lady, defend the kingdom, and live and die by code of chivalry. The story of Bretonnia's duchies is written in glory, faith, and blood. The sunny vineyards of Bordeaux to the haunted peaks of Montfort, each is a kingdom in miniature, with its own heroes, villains, and endless battle. Together they form the land of chivalry, a shining, if flawed, bulwark against the encroaching darkness of the old world. For as long as the knights hold true to their vows, and the banner of the lady flies over Couronne, the realm of Bretonnia will stand. For the lady, for the king, for Bretonnia. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Bretonnia. If you were inspired by these tales of chivalry, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more lore from Warhammer the Old World. Let us know in the comments below which duchy you would pledge your sword to. Until next time, may the lady guide your path, and I will see you there.